Each year, Ireland's best business leaders and innovators gather. They come from all across the island to acclaim the greatest accomplishments in their field. 24 businesses have been chosen to be recognised this year. They share their achievements with family and friends. And from their ranks, one will be lauded above all as the EY Entrepreneur of the Year 2016. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your hosts for the evening, Dermot Murnaghan and Pamela Flood.
Hello everybody, good evening ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the EY Entrepreneur of the Year Awards.
Ireland's journey in recent years has not been without its bumps, but tonight is about pausing on our road to recovery and celebrating the stories of success at the heart of our strengthening economy.
Indeed, and at the heart of tonight's occasion is our host and a very special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome EY's Managing Partner, Mike McCurr, and on Taoiseach, Enda Kenny. And welcome to you all. So as a journalist, for me, who now works primarily in England, it's really great to be back here where I was essentially reared and schooled. So I feel tonight is a sort of homecoming for me.
I too feel at home in the company of the people in this room. In the last year, I've given birth to 2 babies. One was a little girl called Gracie. My other baby, though, is a business that I've started with my husband. So I understand the juggle and the struggle of trying to turn ideas into invoices. And I understand how important tonight is for all our finalists and their families. It's a coming of age for their babies that they nursed and nurtured to become thriving enterprises.
So this is how it's going to work. We're going to be handing out awards tonight in just 3 categories. They are emerging, industry, and international. And from these 3 winners will come one, the 2016 Entrepreneur of the Year. But first, we want to immerse ourselves in the excitement of those early days when all-nighters are pulled and danger and opportunity are daily companions.
Stand by for a glimpse into the minds of the emerging entrepreneurs.
Former physio Ciara Clancy developed Beats Medical. It places treatments for the symptoms of Parkinson's disease into people's pockets in 40 countries worldwide.
One of the things I thought when I started was, God, like everyone has it figured out. I feel I don't have it figured out yet. And what I've realised is actually you probably will never know it all. I guess advice-wise, it would just be to just go for it.
Freshly Chopped, a chain of healthy fast food stores with 14 locations and growing, is the brainchild of Brian Lee, fitness fanatic and born entrepreneur.
You'd have friends that'd be looking to play for Manchester United, where I would be looking to set up a business or go and sell in the market when I was younger or something like that. I often get asked by younger people, oh, am I too young now to set up a business? You don't have any risks now at that age. Why not take that risk now? Because it's going to be a lot easier now taking them challenges, and you're going to learn a lot from it as well while doing that.
Andrew Mullaney and Paul Quigley's News Whip trolls the internet every minute of every day, mapping millions of pieces of social media data to find the headlines before anyone else.
Creating something new and going after a global market is way more fun than just doing something locally that's already been done somewhere else, especially in technology.
And I think the most important thing for any entrepreneur is that just because one idea fails doesn't mean you failed. And all the learnings that you got from that failure will help you succeed with the next one. So it's a journey, it's not an outcome.
In 2010, Niall Stringer and Gillian Maxwell brought Tiger to Irish shores. With 250 employees in 25 stores, the quirky Danish brand is purring contentedly here ever since.
To get to 25 shops in 5 years has been so much work. It's been a fantastic
roller
adventure.
coaster. Yeah, it's been
really,
fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, to get to meet these amazing people, build this amazing team, and do it with your best mate, It's pretty great.
Well, I think you'll agree, a truly fab four there, proving that all you really need is love. Maybe some adrenaline, ideas as well, okay, and a bit of passion, and a lot of perseverance as well.
A lot of that. Back now to our magical mystery tour of Irish business.
A one-off job for their Derry parish was the inspiration for Plotbox. Sean and Leona McAllister's software for the cemetery business has brought mapping real estate to a whole new level.
It's not about the money, it's not about anything else, it's really about, I don't feel like I could fit into anything right now that wouldn't be this.
You know, we never thought at day one that we would have the vision that we have now for the business, and now we're getting more and more confident with our vision, and you know, why can't we can be a global company from Port Glenone.
Stephen Smith's software keeps elite athletes in the game for longer. By identifying an individual's injury risk, Kitman Labs saves professional teams millions of dollars in days lost to injury.
I think in sport you learn the essence of operating as a team and operating as a unit better than anywhere else. I think it's something that corporations and companies probably don't do as well. People don't learn to put their needs aside and put the company's needs before them, and that's something that we're trying to instill because that's how teams work best.
Dreamed up by Mark McCluskey, OneView Healthcare provide interactive patient care to help patients recuperate quicker in the Australian, Middle Eastern and US arenas.
I love what I do. I wouldn't do anything else. I've always wanted to be my own boss. I was always the captain of the soccer team. I always wanted to be the best that I could be. If you're going to do something, put your heart and soul into it. Don't get distracted and just go for it.
Serial entrepreneur Louise Grubb set up Q1 Scientific in Waterford. It's the first Irish company to provide environmentally controlled storage for pharmaceutical samples.
You know, you say we're going to open that bottle of champagne when, you know, we make the first million, or we're going to open that bottle of champagne when we get this customer. But you actually find that the bottles are still in the canteen because we got busy and we had to do this, we had to do that. So I value this time to kind of take time out and say, right, let's just sit back and just see where we are and celebrate the moment.
The champagne is certainly flowing tonight, but for one business, those bubbles are about to become even more intoxicating.
Yes, indeed. Let's find out right away who is the winner of the emerging category by inviting onto the stage Jeremy Fitch of Invest Northern Ireland and Orla Battersby of Enterprise Ireland.
The emerging category is all about the instinct to innovate and the power of the possible.
The 2016 EY Emerging Entrepreneur of the Year is Paul Quigley and Andrew Mullaney from NewsWhip.
With NewsWhip, this year's winners have become technology pioneers in a brave new digital world. Their model of pure disruption particularly impressed the judges and made Paul Quigley and Andrew Mullaney the emerging Entrepreneurs of the Year.
So we've been incredibly privileged to be part of the finalists. EY is a community, and we're thrilled with the friends and the relationships we've made here. So we want to thank everyone. We want to thank our staff who have been building NewsWhip for the last 5 years and turned it into what it is. But our kind of message as well is that you can build a world-class tech company right here in Dublin. You don't have to go to the States, you don't have to go to the UK. What we're doing is to build it right here and sell it all over the world. Thank you.
Whip it good.
That's the first of our 3 category winners, Paul Quigley and Andrew Mulally of Newswhip Media, who are now eligible to become the overall winners.
They're in the running now. This time last year, that top accolade was scooped by 2 young men from Limerick. And I'm sorry to say things haven't really gone so well for John and Patrick Collison. Since their global e-payments company, Stripe, it was recently valued, it was just $5 billion. Can you believe it?
Shame. Victory here a year ago did, however, earn them the right to represent Ireland at the World Awards, where they competed with over 50 of the planet's best entrepreneurs. Let's briefly cruise to Monte Carlo now to see how they played their winning cards.
Monte Carlo in June. The stage is set for the World Entrepreneur of the Year weekend. Representing Ireland this year, 2 Limerick brothers blazing a trail in online payments, John and Patrick Collison of Stripe.
What strikes me here is that I've been meeting with really successful companies from Estonia and Argentina and all these places, and they're not just serving their local market. You know, the internet has allowed these relatively new companies to be global. That's the kind of thing that I find really exciting.
I think the Stripe story and John and Patrick Collison, I think they are really strong representatives for what Ireland can actually produce. It doesn't have to be that you build that business in Ireland, you can build it anywhere internationally, and that's what Irish people and Irish businesses are actually generally very good at.
For Patrick and myself, you know, growing up in Tipperary and then Limerick, but running what is now a global company, I think this is the new normal. I think this is where increasingly things are going. And so that's why Stripe is launching in so many countries and why we care about blanketing the world in Stripe coverage to root out all the talent and the best entrepreneurs and the developers, because we don't think they're just going to be in the top 3 cities. We think they're going to be everywhere.
The World Awards is a celebration of the spirit of entrepreneurship. Each country winner has dared to challenge the status quo and create something unique in its stead. It wasn't to be Ireland's night. The overall winner was Manny Stool of Australian toy company Moose, the inventors of Shopkins. But it's not the last we'll see of the daring and ambitious Collison brothers.
John and Patrick are still in their 20s. This is the 3rd business they've created. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens with that over the next few years. And probably even more interesting to see what have these guys got planned, you know, for the next 10 years or the next 20 years.
The good thing about this idea of providing the platform for online businesses and, you know, the platform for digital entrepreneurship is that we're not going to be done with this problem anytime soon. We're going to continue launching products that make it easier to start and grow an online business. And so now I just gave you the secret roadmap.
Now then, for almost 20 years, believe it or not, Entrepreneur of the Year has acclaimed individuals and enterprises whose efforts have made a difference on the island of Ireland, whose efforts have made things better. And of course, in an era of exits and uncertainty, we are again firmly planting our flag on the common ground of optimism.
The finalists in our 2nd award of the night personified this positivity. The industry category is what our parents' generation would call doing business, with nominees excelling in sectors like construction, engineering and farming. This is the stuff that gets your hands dirty. Here's your shortlist.
Graphic design and printing group TPI has thrived through the constant innovation of CEO Colin Culleton, who discovered his competitive streak at an early age.
I remember years and years ago I went horse riding and I had this mad horse. It was a small, very, very sort of unhealthy looking horse, but it would never let another horse pass it, and it would always speed up when the bigger horses went to pass it by, which was terrifying as a 7-year-old jockey. But what I would say is I did recognise in that horse what I had, which was no great ability, but a huge determination not to be passed out.
Leslie Codd has been almost 30 years growing a mushroom enterprise that now sells 500,000 punnets a week and supplies more than half of all mushrooms consumed in Ireland.
Being an entrepreneur isn't for everyone. It's something that's in people or it's not. It's very hard to turn a person that's not an entrepreneur into being an entrepreneur. But it's in me, and I'm happy to do it.
Eamon Donnelly started in the kitchen business in his teens and grew Uform into a 110,000 square foot factory of kitchen dreams.
You need a bit of luck, of course you do.
you know, and that luck, probably at 17 years of age, happened. You know, I met my wonderful wife when I was 18, and I suppose effectively from that on, it was balancing basically work, which became an addiction because I enjoyed it so much, but I had a wonderful person behind me who respected that.
Busy times for Stephen Vernon of Green Property, who this year completed one of the largest single property deals in the history of the state, when the Blanchardstown Centre fetched nearly €1 billion.
Real estate fundamentally is a cyclical business. You have to be prepared sometimes to sit on your hands and not do too much. I mean, if the market's going down, you know, you could be the greatest property man on earth. It won't make any difference. You'll still lose your shirt if you get involved in it. So sometimes it's too dangerous to go to the office. You have to step back a bit, maybe go sailing or whatever.
Stephen Vernon there, you might say not just staying afloat, but soaring on the crest of a wave. Right, let's meet our next 4 nominees, each one skippering their crew with confidence.
He started in the trenches, but Gareth Loy has built on the foundations of M&M Contractors and grown the business by 1,300% in 6 years at the helm.
I was talking to one of the finalists and he said, you know, do you think you've got a chance of winning? I was like, I have one. This is winning for me. Being part of this is incredible. It's more than I ever thought it would be. It's not just an awards, it's way, way more, and I just feel as if I've won.
From one building on the Lisburn Road, Ashok Sangra and Suresh Tharma have grown 352 into the largest independent healthcare provider in Northern Ireland, the first to offer private GP and casualty services.
Some decisions you have to make on the basis of your gut instinct, but at the same time, it has to be balanced.
We are different people, we have different ideologies. That's possibly the strength. We have different strengths. Suresh has huge strengths, which I lack. And, you know, hopefully I have some strengths which he lacks, and the two, you know, make a good whole, I think.
For his 14th birthday, Jim Wright asked for a motorbike. Instead, his father gave him 2 pigs. Now, JMW Farms includes a feed mill, transport company, and is a powerhouse of pig production.
It's a good age to know what you want to work at, 14, so I sort of left school the following year and just pushed on from that. Now we do everything, we do our own transport, we make our own feed, and by doing it this way, you know it is done properly.
James Lecky's philosophy is that life for all is about taking part. His postural aids for people with special needs are designed and manufactured with this in mind. But is there room for a competitive streak?
I want the business to be successful, and I want to beat the competition, I want to be the best. But that's not actually in line with the goal and the mission of the company. The mission of the company is to improve the quality of life of kids with special needs. And then that can actually mean supporting my competition or enhancing their ability to do that as well. So, am I competitive? Oh, how can I give you an answer and try to pretend not to be competitive?
The good news is that the industry entrepreneurs will only have to keep up their pretense of not being competitive for a few moments more. Please welcome to the stage Patricia Monaghan from News Talk, Cliff Taylor from the Irish Times, and Claire Brock from UTV Ireland.
Entrepreneurs truly understand that the biggest risk of all lies in standing still.
In the rubble of recession, some people saw building blocks for something new, something better.
The 2016 EY Industry Entrepreneur of the Year is Stephen Vernon of Green Property.
It takes someone very special to recognise the upside in a downturn and to find opportunity where others can only see risk. For the sheer scale of his ambition and the intelligence to make it real, the judges have chosen to acclaim Stephen Vernon above all. A truly deserving winner of the accolade, the Industry Entrepreneur of the Year.
Well, as the oldest of the finalists, I thought unless they had a special category for dinosaurs, I wasn't really going to be, at the races. I'd like to thank E&Y because they have done a fantastic job. It's been the most interesting Fascinating year. They've put a huge effort into this. I'd like to thank the team from Green, because this is, as always, a team effort. And, you know, I'd like to thank the other finalists who've made the year so enjoyable. Great crack, as you say. It's just been brilliant. Thanks again.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's your second category winner tonight, Stephen Vernon of Green Property, the 2016 Industry Entrepreneur of the Year.
And well deserved. And still to come, we're going to be meeting the nominees in our international category. And then there's the small matter, I suppose, of anointing an overall winner. Welcome back. Now it's only a matter of days until the world's most powerful and wealthy nation decides on what we could call a new chief executive officer, I suppose. And we'll, of course, be glued to the final steps of that particular competition.
Indeed, we will. But first, we return to a much more edifying form of reality television, the reality of building a booming business from the bare bones of an idea. Here's what happened when we sent Ireland's leading candidates to their very own Camp David.
We're just here in Boston, we've stepped off the plane and we're just after having a speed dating session with the finalists. A big part of the speed dating is about putting a face to the story. One of the things about the CEO retreat is that there's something in it for everybody. So it's not only for the finalists, but that's why so many alumni come back as well.
This year, the group of 80 nominees and alumni were stationed in Boston for a week-long infusion of can-do culture.
I think this retreat is absolutely amazing, right? And you're mixing with people from all so many different environments in business. Like, we've got people here who are making Mux Brothers. We've got people who are growing mushrooms. And we've got people at the very, very top of IT. And that's fantastic, because that's what Ireland's about.
One of the most important things in any form of retreat is it's the little conversation. It's somebody you meet that you maybe didn't expect. In many cases, this is an exchange of ideas. And I think businesses that have been selected for this need to remember that they've already achieved a lot to be selected for that, and go with confidence that their product, their ideas is sellable anywhere in the world.
For one finalist in the sports technology arena, the downtime trip to Fenway Park was a home run.
Yeah, so I ended up getting to talk to Sam Kennedy, the general manager of the Boston Red Sox, which obviously, given my business, was a huge opportunity from a business development perspective.
From MIT to Harvard, the foundations of many global businesses were laid at the great educational institutions of the Northeast, where today's leading business thinkers were on hand to share their insights on global trends.
We're in the home of executive education. I mean, Harvard, the history, it's educated the greatest leaders, the greatest innovators, the greatest entrepreneurs, and that's what our guys want. They want to see what the level is.
If I ask you what's innovative, most of us would probably instantly, our minds would just click to technology, right?
Oh, I love the crowd. It was such an energizing crowd. I'm a fan of entrepreneurs because I realize what they do is almost impossible. They've defied the odds to create something from nothing. So I'm always impressed. What you've overcome, what you've achieved, and then being recognized for that is such a big deal.
Being an entrepreneur, if you really think about it, we do so much alone. So really, when I was asked to be with a whole lot of people, I was kind of going, maybe not, maybe it wouldn't work out, but I've been completely wrong.
It has exceeded all expectations, to be honest.
Genuinely, I've had three things that I'm going, this is going to change a lot of things in our business right now.
It's given me a great opportunity to take a week out and actually think about the business. All the staff will be wondering where's the bay up my bonnet when I get back.
Brian Lee there, absolutely buzzing after his trip stateside. Now, staying abroad, it's time to introduce the shortlisted names in our international category.
iCabby is Gavin Walsh's taxi dispatch software, a disruptive technology putting taxis back in the fast lane in the face of stiff opposition.
Every single day I go into work, I do not know what I'm going to face. Every single day. It's a roller coaster ride. Literally every Sunday night, I have a little think to myself and I'm not really religious, but I do kind of pray just to hope that I have a good week and I get to the end of the week where it's been a good week. And that's not for everybody.
In growing Keynote from a team of 40 to around 1,000, Brendan Mooney has nurtured one of only 2 listed companies in Northern Ireland, creating large-scale IT projects around the world along the way.
I think everybody's life has adversity in it and challenges. I think that often the business ones are much easier than the personal ones. So at the end of the day, the business will succeed in a large way or a smaller way, and that's fine. But I sleep very well. Unfortunately, as the years have gone past, I sleep very, very noisily as well. So our kids aren't very pleased with me snoring away downstairs.
Growing up, the farm machinery Clodagh Kavanagh encountered at her grandparents' was on a much bigger scale than other kids. Celebrating nearly 70 years in business, Abbey machinery can be found from Saudi to Iceland.
Since I was a child, it's always been Abbey and the family. You couldn't separate one from the other. We're grown for the next generation, and the next generation of the Abbey team that we'd hope will still be flying the flag. And my 1-year-old, yeah, well, he's little Abbey Jack, he's nearly big enough to start work.
Winner of an Apple Design Award and top of the App Store medical list in 82 countries, John Moore is revolutionising how medicine is taught with his 3D4 medical platform.
Well, I wasn't always successful. I failed many times. Many times. I think by the law of averages, I just had to be successful at some stage. So I've had many companies along the way, and some of them failed, some of them have made money. But I think as you get older and you learn from your experience, they say clever people learn from other people's mistakes. I just learned from my own.
Yeah, there he is, John Moore, showing a refreshing attitude to making the odd mess along the way and proving the entrepreneur's adage that the one thing you should never regret is, of course, your mistakes. On to the next 4 masterclasses.
Kieran O'Keefe spotted the potential of the internet on mobiles early and founded Mobile Web Ads in 2002. Today, with offices in 11 countries, the company serves 45 billion ads a month.
Business is a long, hard road, very rewarding, great fun along the road, a lot of travel, a lot of great people that you meet and so on, but don't think it's going to happen overnight. It doesn't, even in the tech world. People love to have lovely little stories about how it was that one decision that made the difference. It's not, it's 1,000 decisions.
Navanman and Bective GAA fan Noel Moran is Banistore of Prepaid Financial Services, one of Europe's leading e-money providers, offering alternatives to cash across 24 countries.
We did go out looking to try and raise money in the early days for PFS. Luckily, no one believed us and no one gave us the money. So it meant the journey was a little bit more difficult, all right, but in hindsight, we're obviously seeing the benefit of that now. I guess maybe it's worked out with a bit of luck as well too, you know.
In 42 countries around the world, plastic sheets produced by Athlone Extrusions are used to create a vast array of products, a lifetime's achievement for Jimmy McGee.
I think there's great opportunities in Ireland for companies, because you've just got to look around. We are exporting to 42 countries worldwide at the moment. For somebody who is prepared to take the risks, I think there's a fantastic lifestyle.
The Healy Group is a multi-million euro ingredients distribution company. The beating heart of the global business is founder and West Cork native Maurice Healy.
I always felt somewhere in my head that I actually had a little bit of the Midas. Like, I believed in luck. I always felt I was going to be successful, and that's been right through my life. It's just I'm very fortunate in that regard. And it's the reason I wake up every morning, because I'm going to meet somebody that's going to change my life.
And now we're about to meet a couple who will change one of our entrepreneurs' lives forever. Can you please welcome to the stage 2 former winners of this very competition, Pádraig O'Cady and the chair of the judging panel, Anne Herity.
The responsibility of sitting in judgment on these exceptional businesses was a pure privilege, because the quality and imagination of this year's shortlist was simply inspirational.
The 2016 EY International Entrepreneur of the Year is Brendan Mooney from Keynote.
For creating sustained employment and opportunity, for quietly leading a story of extraordinary growth, and for proving that a homegrown technology company can compete and win on the world stage. Brendan Mooney is the 2016 International Entrepreneur of the Year.
Well now, so like other contestants, I'd like to start off by thanking EY. It's been an amazing programme over the last 6 months. I may be collecting the trophy this evening, but what we've built at Keynote has been built by 970 very talented people. It's been a privilege to be part of that team. Which leads me to thank, I guess, the most important person in my life, my wife Eileen. What often gets overlooked in the Keynote story is the fact that my wife is a talented business person in her own right, who very generously, a number of years ago, gave up her own high-flying career to allow me to spend more time in Keynote, and has given me great business advice over the years, which I'm pleased to report I've taken most of it on board. So thanks, Pet.
Now, I think, as we all know, 2016 has seen Ireland surrounded by political and economic uncertainty on all sides. And yet, the economy, primarily powered by the human fuel and passion in this room, has shown remarkable resilience.
To say a few words about where we've been and where we're heading together, please welcome our very special guest of honour, An Taoiseach Enda Kenny.
Galamagivis, Fáilte of Gachtan and Shaw, Mr. O'Connor, Mr. Breen, Chief Whip Brigid Doherty. What a wonderful event here in City West. Wonderful occasion, brilliant competition, outstanding contestants, every one of them. I admire their vision and their initiative. And their contribution to Ireland, along with other entrepreneurs, has been so critical over the years. Lots of people have played an important role in Ireland's economic comeback. However, it is true to say that if we did not have ambitious men and women who take the risk to start their own company or take a business in a whole new direction, then our economy and our society would become stagnant. These people keep Irish enterprise on the crest of the wave of new innovation, new discoveries, new industries. And by doing so, they are the ones who safeguard Ireland's future by continually securing new jobs and new investment. They are a critical cog in our society. And it is our job in government to keep those cogs turning by providing support where we can. In the past, support for entrepreneurs has been lacking. I'm determined to change that. And thanks to the recovering economy, we're now starting the process of providing more social benefits to the self-employed and ensuring that they have access to the same credit benefits as everyone else. We want to see more micro businesses grow into small businesses that grow into bigger businesses that grow into global enterprises. And we will continue to reform the tax system and provide more resources to Enterprise Ireland to support entrepreneurs to scale up their businesses. They say that entrepreneurs can instinctively spot the opportunity in the face of new challenges. This country, ladies and gentlemen, has seen and faced down enormous challenges in recent years, and there will be more to come. The decision by the United Kingdom to leave the European Union is already presenting difficulties to Irish businesses, but it brings with it also the opportunity for new opportunities for Ireland and for our entrepreneurs. Let me assure everyone that government is absolutely committed to helping Irish businesses through the upcoming uncertain times. We have been planning for this eventuality. We will stand up for what is best in the interests of Ireland in the coming months and years. Finally, I'd like to finish by wishing all the finalists the very best for the future. To those who've won, you are leaders. To those who didn't win, you are leaders too. We admire you, we're proud of you. Thank you, EY. As I say, it's a brilliant competition. It's breaking the barriers for the future, and after all, that's where we all have to live. Thank you, Garmagif.
On Taoiseach, thank you. And now it's time to announce the winner of our annual special award.
Past winners of this award have included Father Peter McVerry, Martin Naughton from Glen Dimplex, and the Queen of the Ploughing Championship, Anna May McHugh.
Here to tell us more, please welcome EY's Kevin McLaughlin.
As you can tell from the stories of our finalists tonight, entrepreneurship is a resilient force. It survives and even thrives in some of the most unexpected habitats. And tonight, we're going to celebrate the stellar achievements of an Irish woman who helped put men on the moon.
The story of Ireland's connection with the cosmos is a rich tapestry of achievement. Stretching from ancient times to today, the very same canopy of stars that held our ancestors spellbound 5,000 years ago has been the lifelong passion of astrophysicist Susan McKenna Lawler.
I certainly didn't study science in school. We concentrated on what were known as the polite subjects. So we did things like music, needlework, languages, and so on. So I went down to the university to sign on, and I decided there and then that what I would like to do would be to balance my education. And of course, at the beginning, it was absolutely terrible. And then very soon afterwards, I remember it really clearly. I was sitting on my bed with all my books around me, and suddenly I came to know that this material was absolutely beautiful.
Susan began her career in Dublin studying solar weather. But in the 1960s, while pursuing a PhD in the US, she found herself in the middle of the moon landing.
The Americans had just gained the capability to put men on the moon. And it was realized that the activity on the sun was posing a very great threat to the astronauts. And of course, this was something that I knew very well.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
So in the end, I got to be a person who was lecturing to the trainee astronauts and giving them an indication of what it meant to have serious activity on the sun.
A major career breakthrough came when she was chosen to lead an experiment that flew to the heart of Halley's Comet in 1986.
It began, in fact, several days before the encounter because we got the first signatures from Halley's Comet when we were still 7.5 million kilometres away from the nucleus. So you can imagine I didn't go to bed for 3 days or 3 nights. It was just an ongoing thing. But it was all very exciting. I flew every step of the way with it.
Since then, Susan's company, Space Technology Ireland, has blazed a trail in mission-critical instruments that are exploring the very nature of the universe.
It began in 1985, and since that time, we have successfully built instrumentation that has been launched by 6 major space agencies, and we're not finished yet. In some ways, it's like movies. You're as good as your last picture, and you're as good as the last experiment that you flew.
10 years after launch, and 500 million kilometres from home, when Rosetta encountered Comet 67P 2 years ago, it was Susan's technology that allowed the spacecraft and the lander to communicate. Without her contribution, there quite simply would have been no science from the lander. So the end of the mission a few weeks ago was a poignant moment.
Tears rolled down my face. But I was not the only one who was crying. All the men were crying as well. It was hard to say goodbye.
After 5 decades at the forefront of space exploration, Susan hopes to launch an Irish satellite next and train a new generation for the challenges of an interstellar career.
Since the dawn of history, people have looked up at the skies and they have speculated. How did this whole environment begin? How is it going to end? Are we alone? Are there other civilizations out there? And only now we're beginning to have the technology that would help us to go a little way towards answering them. I've enjoyed it very, very much because it's been at the forefront of technology, of science, and of course, you meet such very interesting people. Taoiseach, distinguished guests, it is a deeply felt experience to be here, and I profoundly thank the organisers who have so greatly honoured my company, Space Technology Ireland, and myself by selecting me to receive this prestigious special award. Thank you all so very much. Now, it is the business of entrepreneurs to dream dreams. And this evening, I am dreaming, as they said at the end of the video, that perhaps by 2019, Ireland might already have its own spacecraft. This dream, if realized, would of course provide tremendous international prestige and involve not only school children, university students, educators, our poets and musicians, but also Irish high-tech companies and entrepreneurs, all of you out there. The next step, then, is to establish if everyone, from the schools to the mums and dads, the universities, the captains of industry, would be supportive of mounting such a national space venture. We need, in other words, to demonstrate that the Irish people really would wish to have their own spacecraft. If it turns out that the answer is yes, it will be necessary as a further critical step to determine if government is prepared to undertake the various legal ramifications involved. This requires quite complex international engagement. Meanwhile, we are already in the space age. And if everything goes well with the steps I have just mentioned, Irish people from every walk of life and from both sides of the brain can potentially participate in a national spacecraft mission. Lekela is Fedrelin. Together, yes, we can make this happen.
Well, there we are. That is how to do your lobbying in public. Susan McKenna Lawler, literally shooting for the stars. a truly extraordinary woman who refused to believe that the sky was the limit. And after all, she knew firsthand that there were footprints on the moon.
Indeed. Up next, we will pin a name on the brightest star of all as we crown the 2016 Entrepreneur of the Year.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're nearly there. It's almost time now for the main event.
We have had women, men, young, old, established and embryonic, traditional and digital. But who will be the 2016 Entrepreneur of the Year?
Well, the time has come to add another great business and another great business leader to the roll of honour. Ladies and gentlemen, to announce the overall winner for 2016, will you please welcome EY's Managing Partner, Mike McCurr.
And Taoiseach Enda Kenny, Ministers, our 2016 finalists, ladies and gentlemen, it is a privilege to host the 19th EY Entrepreneur of the Year Awards. Our country has undergone dramatic change and upheaval in the past decade, and the next promises to be equally tumultuous. Brexit threatens how business operates across borders and within the island. Technology and automation will disrupt virtually every industry at an increasing pace. Changes in how and where people work, and indeed the nature of the work, will continue to accelerate. However, one certainty is that entrepreneurship will remain the critical engine of growth in all sectors of the Irish economy. Tonight's 24 finalists will shape our communities and economy in the next 10 years. Their ability to translate opportunity into growth and jobs by developing products and innovating services will be transformative. Today, they are disrupting diverse sectors including health, agri-food, retail, technology, manufacturing and life sciences. Tomorrow, they will be global leaders in the new markets that they have created, while generating thousands of jobs and billions in exports. Coming from all parts of our island, this year's finalists already collectively employ over 3,000 people and generate over €500 million in revenue each year. Acknowledging and celebrating their success is critical to inspire the next generation of Irish entrepreneurs. But we have more to do. In order to enhance the entrepreneurial culture in Ireland, it is important that business, government, funders and educators work together to create the ecosystem necessary to foster innovation and creative business startups. Every entrepreneur we've supported over the last 19 years tell us that theirs can be a lonely journey. So at EY, our EOY alumni network provides the opportunity for Irish entrepreneurs to connect, collaborate, innovate, and do business with one another. The Entrepreneur of the Year programme is itself a great example of collaboration. And I'd like to say a special word of thanks to all our judges and sponsors who helped make this the most prestigious business award on the island. Thanks also to our EY EOY team who worked tirelessly on putting the programme together. And finally, 3 of the entrepreneurs remain in the running for the overall award. Let's remind ourselves of who they are.
Paul Quigley and Andrew Mullaney, Newswhip.
Being nominated this year will help people know we exist and know that there's world-class tech being built right here on Merrion Square.
Why shouldn't work be fun? I mean, that is actually the aim here. Like, solve problems together with people you love being around and have fun while doing it.
We have a space over there, you see. The real reason we've got a little gap over there among our trophies, so hopefully.
Stephen Vernon, Green Property.
When I was in private practice, my ambition was to be a partner in the firm, and I achieved that by the age of 43, but then realised I was up the wrong mountain, so I didn't have to go all the way down and back up the different. This time I got it right. There's a lot of luck in it, whatever. This story about the more I practice, the better I get, I'm deeply sceptical about that. I think it's much better to acknowledge the role of luck in this.
Brendan Mooney, Keynote.
I became CEO during the middle of the dot-com meltdown. That was a very difficult time to be a starter CEO. And I remember 2008, 2009 when 70% of our business was with Irish banks. Again, a very nervous time to be, but out of both those came opportunity, albeit hard won, but really, really rewarding.
The winner of the 2016 EY Entrepreneur of the Year is Brendan Mooney, Keynote.
How does it feel? And I don't mean the award. Did you expect that? I mean, you were paying tribute in your speech there to the people around you. It's not just or even about you, is it?
No, it's always about the team. And for me, the future for Keynote is about keeping going. You know, we've been in business 30 years. I guess the question is, why can we not be in business for 30 more or 60 more? So that's the ambition we have. We want to be a global business based here in Ireland, competing with the big guys.
You're going to rest on your laurels?
I'm going to rest the laurels of other people. No, I mean, this is just the start of the journey for Keynote. It has been an exciting 30 years. Looking forward to the future.
I'm sure there's another 30 years at least to come. Ladies and gentlemen, Brendan Mooney from Keynote. Well done. Thank you.
So that's it for tonight. We want to thank our guest of honour on Taoiseach Enda Kenny and also offer hearty congratulations to all of our nominees and winners.
And all that's left is to thank you at home for watching. The search, of course, begins straight away for next year's awards. Perhaps you might be the next big thing. From the City West Hotel,
good night.